For many years, people around the world believed they knew everything about the famous Terracotta Army from China. This army made of clay was discovered decades ago and has fascinated millions. Every time a small part of this ancient army is displayed in different countries, it draws large crowds and wins the hearts of new fans. For almost 50 years, experts said the army had been fully studied and understood. It was seen as a great work of art, a silent group of soldiers protecting the tomb of a great emperor. But in early 2025, something unexpected was found deep below the surface in one of the pits where the soldiers are buried. It changed everything we thought we knew. Archaeologists were shocked when they uncovered new types of figures among the soldiers and horses. These included clay statues of legal officials, musicians, and dancers, something no one had seen before. People working on the excavation started whispering about strange patterns and unexpected figures. There was one in particular that didn't fit anything they had seen before. This army of clay has been lying buried underground for over 2,000 years, and yet even now it continues to reveal secrets. The official reports were carefully worded. They didn't give away much. Pictures of the discoveries were tightly controlled. But scientists and historians could feel that something major had been found. The Terracotta Army, which is located in Lebanon, is already known for its incredible size, details, and historical meaning. However, this new discovery challenges everything we thought we understood, not just about the army, but about the emperor who created it, Qin Shi Huang. The truth is that something was found that was never meant to be discovered. Now that it has been revealed, people are starting to ask deeper questions. What have we not been told about the first emperor of China? What has been hidden all these years? Before modern China rose from a long history of wars, dynasties, and revolutions, there was one man who united it all. His name was Ying Zheng. In the year 221 BCE, after defeating and joining together several warring states, he named himself Qin Shi Huang, which means the first emperor of China. He began a new era by bringing together the various parts of the country under one rule. He created one legal system, one type of money, one way of writing, and built roads and walls to connect the empire. But Emperor Qin did not stop there. His biggest dream was to live forever. He didn't just want to be a powerful ruler in his lifetime, he wanted to escape death itself. He asked court magicians and alchemists to find the secret to eternal life. He sent people on voyages to magical lands in hopes of meeting gods. He built large structures to try to please the heavens. His palace was full of mysterious rituals and strange experiments. Even though he was trying to find a way to live forever, he also came up with a different plan. He ordered the construction of a massive underground kingdom, a place that would be like his empire above the ground. This place would help him continue to rule even after death. If he could not cheat death, then he would still rule over it. He chose a location under a hill in what is now the Lintong district of Lebanon in Shaanxi province. There, he began building a tomb so large and secret that most of it has never been dug up even today. At the center of this underground world is believed to be the emperor's burial room, which is surrounded by rivers of liquid mercury, deadly traps, and layers of earth meant to keep thieves and outsiders away. The most famous part of this complex, however, is the Terracotta Army, the thousands of clay soldiers meant to guard the emperor in the afterlife. This amazing discovery happened in 1974. Local farmers were digging a well when they found broken pieces of pottery. At first, they didn't know what they had found. But soon, experts realized that these pieces were part of something huge. As digging continued, it became clear that this was not just a small burial site, it was a full-sized army made out of clay. The soldiers were life-sized and carefully arranged as if ready for battle. There were archers, cavalry, chariots, and foot soldiers. Each statue was created with amazing detail. No two faces were the same. Their armor, hairstyles, and weapons all matched the styles used by real soldiers at the time. Some looked stern and commanding, others looked calm and focused. Many of the soldiers once held real bronze weapons such as swords and spears, some of which are still sharp today. So far, experts have discovered around 8,000 soldiers, more than 130 chariots, and over 600 horses. There are also statues of musicians, acrobats, strong men, and government officials. Each figure was made from local clay and then painted in bright colors. Sadly, most of the paint faded after being exposed to the air. Even so, the level of craftsmanship has continued to impress archaeologists for 50 years. The army is spread out across 3 main pits. Pit number 1 is the largest and most famous. It has long rows of soldiers and chariots, showing a powerful frontline attack. Pit number 3 is smaller and seems to be the command center. It contains statues of officers standing around a chariot, as if planning military strategies. Pit number 2, however, is the most mysterious and complex. It has a wider variety of figures and formations. In it, you can find archers in both kneeling and standing positions, elite cavalry units, armored soldiers, and chariots. These groups appear to be arranged with specific military tactics in mind. Experts now believe this part of the army was not just symbolic, it was designed to act like a real fighting force, even in the afterlife. Over time, historians have come to understand that this army was not created just to honor the emperor. It was made to carry out his will even after death. Qin Shi Huang didn't just want to be remembered, he wanted to keep control forever. His tomb was not only a final resting place, but also a replica of his empire. A place with rules, ranks, and power, guarded by soldiers who would never grow old or rebel. For decades, it was believed that everything about the Terracotta Army had been discovered and explained. But archaeology is a science that keeps evolving. New methods, better tools, and continued digging have led to fresh discoveries. The new statue found in pit number 2 in early 2025 reminded everyone that the tomb still holds secrets. Every new figure, every unexpected design, challenges the story we've been told. Underneath the faces made of clay, behind the lines of carved armor, lies a deeper truth about power, fear, and the never-ending human desire to live forever. The Terracotta Army shows us Qin Shi Huang's obsession with control and legacy. But maybe what it hides is just as important as what it shows. Pit number 2, which has often been ignored in favor of the larger and more dramatic Pit 1, is now becoming the most important in terms of what it tells us. While Pit 1 shows a large number of soldiers lined up for battle, Pit 2 reveals something much more complex. It's not just about size, it's about strategy and intelligence. Pit 2 covers around 6,000 square meters. It's smaller than Pit 1 but contains a variety of military units that suggest careful planning. You can find archers arranged in ways that would make sense for both attack and defense. There are horsemen on saddled clay horses, armored soldiers ready for battle, and chariots placed in smart positions. These were not placed randomly or just for show. Their arrangement follows real military strategies from the Qin dynasty. Unlike Pit 1, which has uniform lines of soldiers, Pit 2 is more flexible. The archers are arranged in a way that allows them to shoot in different directions. The chariots and horsemen are placed so that they could carry out flanking attacks or move quickly across a battlefield. It's like looking at a miniature battlefield where every piece has a purpose. Excavation in this area started in the early 1990s but was stopped shortly after. Not because of a lack of interest, but because the figures were very fragile. Some of them still had traces of their original paint, colors like red, blue, green, and black had survived underground for over 2,000 years. Sadly, when the statues were removed from the ground, the colors quickly disappeared because of exposure to air. Archaeologists realized they needed better tools and methods before continuing. They made the wise choice to pause the digging and focus on developing better conservation techniques. This decision ended up helping not just the Terracotta Army, but the entire field of archaeology in China. Since 2015, with the use of new technology like 3D scanning, ground-penetrating radar, and gentle digging methods, work in Pit 2 resumed. Now, researchers can study the statues layer by layer without damaging them. The temperature, moisture, and light inside the pit are carefully controlled so that the statues and their colors stay protected. The results have been amazing. They found horses, chariot pieces, and warrior statues in even better condition than those in Pit 1. Some of the faces, armor designs, and poses are so detailed that they seem more advanced, as if the artists were given more freedom or had higher skills. These small differences suggest that some statues were meant to represent high-ranking officers or elite fighters. This adds to the idea that even in the afterlife, the emperor wanted a clear hierarchy. Not every warrior was the same. Some had more status, even in death. The presence of archers, cavalry, and chariots all in one place supports the idea that Pit 2 was made for a mobile and powerful unit. It wasn't just a line of guards standing still. It was a force that could attack, defend, and respond to threats, just like a real army. This kind of detail shows how serious Emperor Qin was about ruling after death. Every statue, every placement, was made with purpose. The new discoveries from Pit 2 have changed how we see the entire Terracotta Army. It's not just a collection of statues. It's a reflection of a powerful man's desire to rule forever. It shows us how far he was willing to go to prepare for death, not just with magic or potions, but with careful planning and organization. And perhaps most importantly, it shows us that there's still so much we don't know. The story of the Terracotta Army is far from finished. There are still parts of the tomb that haven't been opened, still mysteries buried beneath the ground. Every layer of clay, every statue waiting to be uncovered, might hold answers to questions we haven't even thought to ask yet. As we continue to explore, we may discover that the past is far more complex than we imagined and that some secrets were never meant to stay hidden forever. Unlike the crowded and orderly layout of Pit 1 or the small and possibly ceremonial structure of Pit 3, Pit 2 gives us something entirely different. It paints a very detailed and realistic picture of what a Qin dynasty battlefield might have looked like, only in miniature form. Every inch of this space seems carefully planned to reflect the complexity of warfare during that time. Pit 2 silently honors the intelligence and military strategy of the emperor who brought China together as one. This place isn't just about showing power after death, it shows the emperor's love for discipline, military structure, and perfect organization. Every statue, every soldier, every small placement has meaning. They weren't just built to represent the past. They were also created to prepare for something much bigger, eternity. In early 2025, after almost 10 years of slow and careful digging in Pit 2, a team of archaeologists from the Shaanxi Provincial Institute of Archaeology made a discovery that many are calling one of the most important finds in recent times. They found a statue of a high-ranking general. This figure was incredibly well preserved, full of tiny details, and completely different from anything discovered in more than 30 years. This general wasn't found by accident. He was discovered during a very focused digging operation along the northern edge of Pit 2. Before, experts believed this part of the pit only had lower-ranked soldiers and cavalrymen. But as the team slowly brushed away the compacted soil, something special appeared: a tall and finely carved headdress. That was the first clue. This warrior was not like the others. As the archaeologists continued digging, they saw more. The figure had a broad chest, covered with layered armor that looked like ribbons. His hands were held together in a serious and commanding way. His face had deep lines and a powerful expression that made him stand out. He was not standing alone. He was surrounded by 2 officers, 5-foot soldiers, 3 terracotta horses, and 2 chariots. The way they were arranged made it very clear this was a leader. Based on his outfit, his pose, and his location near other military units, the archaeologists were sure. This was a general. He became the 10th general discovered out of the 8,000 warriors known so far, and the first general found in Pit 2 since the 1990s. What made this statue even more amazing wasn't just that he was rare, it was the quality of the craftsmanship. The armor was made with incredible care. Each plate was carved to look perfect and balanced, with visible knots and tassels, even after centuries underground. His face had unique features like wide-set eyes, a serious brow, and a carved mustache. These were not random, they were carefully designed to make this figure different from the rest. There was something special in the way he looked. He had a presence that demanded attention. One of the most exciting parts of this discovery was that the figure still had some of its original colors. Most warriors from Pit 1 lost their color because of oxidation after being dug up. But this general was found inside a pocket of soil that helped protect the paint. Scientists were able to see traces of red and blue colors on his armor and robe. These were not just any colors. Vermilion red and lapis blue were pigments usually reserved for the most important people. This kind of color preservation is extremely rare and gave researchers an opportunity to study the general in ways never before possible. This discovery opened up many questions and discussions among historians and archaeologists. Was this general based on a real person from history? Or was he created as a symbol of power, to lead an army in the afterlife? Even though there were no writings or names carved directly on the statue, its size and placement told a powerful story. Experts believed that this general may have been one of the top commanders in the emperor's imagined afterlife army. According to Qin Shi Huang, who led the excavation, the general's position in the pit suggests he was in charge of the emperor's chariot forces, an important job given only to someone completely trusted. Dr. Ji described the discovery as a moment that changed how we see Pit 2. For many years, Pit 2 was thought to be less important than Pit 1. But now, it's clear that Pit 2 was not just a backup. It housed a strong, well-organized military force, led by one of the most powerful figures in the entire mausoleum. Janice Shujan Li, a Chinese art expert visiting from Oxford University, explained it clearly. She said that this general has changed everything we thought we knew about how power was arranged in the emperor's army. He wasn't just protecting the tomb, he was leading it. This discovery has pushed Pit 2 into the spotlight. For a long time, people mainly talked about Pit 1. But now, thanks to the general, Pit 2 is being seen as a key part of the emperor's eternal military plan. The general's figure is more than just a statue. It is an artwork, a message, and a tool of political power all at once. The way he looks, the way he stands, and even the colors on him tell us something about how the Qin dynasty saw authority and loyalty. He is a symbol of the emperor's control and vision of a perfect empire. At first glance, the general's size is noticeable. He is slightly taller than a regular person, standing at nearly 2 meters. This extra height isn't an accident. In ancient Chinese art, making someone larger often meant they were more powerful. His armor is completely different from what ordinary soldiers wore. While foot soldiers wore simple armor, his was layered and decorated with patterns that looked like dragon scales. Dragons were powerful symbols in China, representing strength and a connection to the heavens. His armor reminded everyone of the emperor's divine rule. Even his headgear told a story. The general wore a tall headdress with curved wings at the sides. This type of headwear had only been seen before in small fragments from other high-ranking statues. The shape of the headdress showed not just military rank, but also how close he was to the emperor. These visual signs of power were made to be understood even by spirits in the afterlife. The way the general held his hands was also meaningful. Unlike some warriors who are frozen in action, this figure stood still, calm, and alert. He wasn't about to attack, he was standing watch. This pose showed discipline and readiness, not aggression. The artists who made these statues knew how to tell stories through small details. They weren't just skilled in making things look good, they understood the symbols and traditions of the royal court. They could carve deep meaning into a simple posture. Scientists found more proof of the general's high status by studying the tiny bits of paint on his armor. They found pigments like vermilion red, azurite blue, and malachite green. These were expensive mineral-based colors. In ancient Chinese culture, each color meant something. Red was for life and good luck. Blue stood for depth and never-ending existence. Green symbolized new beginnings. Putting these colors together sent a strong message: this was a leader prepared to serve forever. The level of detail in his face was another highlight. He had sharp cheekbones, a strong jaw, and eyebrows shaped in a serious expression. The artists didn't try to make exact copies of real people. But they gave each figure a unique look to show individuality. This general was more than lifelike. He seemed almost godlike. He wasn't just a statue. He was a symbol of loyalty, strength, and the emperor's dream of eternal power. The way he stood, what he wore, and where he was placed all tell us one thing: the emperor wanted his empire to last forever, even in death. This general isn't just an interesting discovery. He changes what we know about how the Qin military was organized. Before this, Pit 2 was thought to be a less important area filled with a mix of different troops. But now, scholars are looking at it differently. They believe Pit 2 might have been the real heart of the army, the core of the emperor's strategic plan. It could have been a specialized team of elite fighters, maybe even the emperor's personal bodyguard or a quick response team to protect the tomb from evil spirits in the afterlife. The way the soldiers are arranged in Pit 2 also supports this idea. Archers are placed at the edges, both standing and kneeling in lines that might have represented defense and attack formations. Chariots and cavalry are placed in the middle areas. The general himself is positioned just behind one of the main chariot lines. This layout looks like a real battlefield formation, with each part in the right place. It wasn't just symbolic, it was functional. The army was built to work together, to fight, and to win under one command. Even the materials used in the pit show a focus on realism. The horses had carefully carved bridles and reins. The chariots, although mostly made from wood that has rotted away, originally had metal parts and were pulled by terracotta horses shaped with stunning accuracy. The soldiers held real bronze weapons. Some of these weapons are still sharp after more than 2,000 years. These weren't just art pieces, they were part of a fully imagined military force. The presence of the general in this exact position makes it clear. He was not just for decoration. He was there to lead. He had an army behind him, ready to serve. This adds to the theory that each of the three pits had its own role. Pit 1 was for foot soldiers. Pit 3 might have been the command center. And Pit 2, now seen as the most elite, was the front line. This discovery also happened at a very symbolic time, the 50th anniversary of the Terracotta Army's discovery in 1974. Back then, some farmers stumbled across broken pottery while digging a well. Since then, the site has become one of the biggest archaeological efforts in the world. Over the years, our understanding of ancient China has grown with each new discovery. At first, excavations were done quickly, with little knowledge about how to preserve the statues. Many of the figures lost their original colors as soon as they were exposed to the air. Bright reds, blues, and purples faded within hours. Large parts of the site stayed buried because scientists didn't have the tools to safely dig them out. Today, things have changed completely. Archaeologists now work in controlled environments. Some areas are even dug up inside sealed spaces where temperature and air moisture are carefully controlled. New tools like ground-penetrating radar, fine microdiggers, and 3D scanners help researchers study the ground without damaging anything. Scientists now use special treatments to protect the colors found on the figures. Some colors can even be rebuilt. Different kinds of experts now work together: historians, scientists, artists, engineers, and even computer programmers. Artificial intelligence is being used to find patterns in the way the figures are placed. Machines can even guess missing parts of statues with amazing accuracy. This site has changed how people all over the world look at Chinese history. In the early days, most of the research was done by Western experts. Now, Chinese scholars are leading the way, with help from international universities and institutions. The discovery of the general in 2025 is not just a new find. It shows how far archaeology has come in 50 years. What started with shovels and brushes now includes satellite images and laser scanners. But even with all the new technology, the goal is still the same: to find and protect the truth buried under the earth.